Good afternoon, Phillies and Colts, ladies and gentlemen. This is PMV Today host Synergy, and you're listening to PMV Today's Spotlight podcast. Welcome aboard. Today we're going to be talking to TheeLinker about its impressive collection of videos, ranging from parodied theatrical trailers to traditional PMVs. Linker, are you there?
Hello, I am here. How are you?
Good, awesome. As always, it's always great to have other PMV artists coming on to our podcast here. So I'm going to get into asking you some questions if you don't mind.
All right, sounds
So,
great.
where are you from?
I am from Ottawa, Canada.
Oh, awesome. I'm from Toronto. Close.
Oh, cool.
That's very cool. Awesome. All right. And is there a story behind your username?
I first came up with it on the Nintendo forums back in like 2005 or something. I didn't think I'd be using it. I came up with TheeLinker first and then Linkachu, and those were both taken, thank God. And so I just put in TheeLinker. I never thought I'd use it, but then I ended up doing fan fiction, which was mildly popular, and I became known by that, or at least in my head. And so I kept it around with me, as I went to different forums. And
Oh, cool.
then I tried to make a Gmail account, and there's no like TheeLinker's taken, so I had to like add an E in there, got this random E in there.
All right. And you said you wrote fan fiction. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was Nintendo fan fiction. It was a parody of The Amazing Race done with Nintendo characters.
That's genius. I love The Amazing Race. Are you anticipating the Canadian Amazing Race coming out? Actually, it's coming out very soon.
Yeah, I used to watch it, but...
all right, that's what I'm anticipating. Anyway, so we have all these fandoms. We got the furry fandom, we got the Trekkie fandom. Out of all these fandoms, why the brony fandom? How did you get into this fandom?
Well, this is something that, I was a big on the Giant the Playground forums, which is the forum's webcomic called Order of the Sick.
Okay.
And a thread popped up there that was like, hey, look at this My Little Pony show. It's been actually really good. And I read that. I didn't really have any hesitations at first, and all of my online friends started getting into it, I never thought, oh, this is weird. I just thought, well, okay, if they like it, I'll probably get into it eventually.
Oh, okay.
And,
yes?
Yeah, and I did my own streaming. I streamed bad movies at some points. I streamed Birdemic. And at the end of that, I'm like, okay, guys, what else do you want to see? And they're like, okay, My Little Pony. So for the first time, I'd pull up an episode, and I ended up streaming Sonic Rainboom and the dress one, Suited for Success. I streamed those, and those were my first two episodes.
Oh, those are good episodes, and I'm guessing you went back and caught up on the series?
Yeah, I bounced around completely randomly, so it's kind of strange.
You don't really have to follow. Like, there's not like a concrete storyline from episode to episode, say like Avatar or something.
No, but I probably would have had a better time with the Cutie Mark Crusaders if I had had them introduced to me.
Oh yeah, I
differently.
guess so.
I watched, the one where they're babysat by Fluttershy, and they were just kind of this one unit. You can't tell them apart when you don't know them.
The stare. That's
Stairmaster.
All right, so and it's great, and considering the brony fandom so new in comparison to anything else at the time, it's a very great artistic outlet. So some people write, some people do art, some people make music, but you're here making PMVs. How did you get into making PMVs for this fandom?
Because I basically my introduction to the show was through PMVs.
Oh, okay.
I should say the way I first saw any of the footage. I saw the StarCraft 2 trailer, the Ponycraft 2, and there was like 300 ponies and a few others I've got on my iPod.
Okay.
And eventually, and BronyVids was one that was like the one guy I saw pop up, and I guess it's kind of awful to say, but I watched one of his videos, the Dark Knight one, and there was just this point where I saw this beat that I thought got missed,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and I posted this comment, like, I guess, trying to say something about it, and of course, he gets thousands of messages. He probably never saw it. But after that, I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to say stuff like that, well, why don't I just start doing my own stuff?
Oh, that's smart. Hey, why not, right?
I don't really think that it's like a valid argument. I don't think you can't criticize something without doing something yourself, but, that's just what I was thinking. I'm might as well do something on my own. So I did The Matrix. I did a parody of The Matrix, and
The Matrix, yes.
yeah, and so that was how I started.
Oh, that's cool. And yeah, I suppose that's a clear connection to your inspirations to what you do now because, yeah, parody trailers amongst other things. So, what about the show itself inspired you to make your animations?
Well, I just think, I watched Ponycraft too, and just the moment where, wow, like halfway through, you see the Ursa Minor rising up above the house, and you see Twilight charging her spell, and that convinced me alone that this show was something worth watching. It's that it was something different, because you don't see that in normal children's television. Just
Absolutely.
The animation and the intensity of that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if you're on that track of thought, I mean, let's talk about season 2 finale when the changelings invaded. Like that was intense stuff, man.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. All right, cool. So, what is the creative process that you undergo while making your animations? How do you start? The softwares you use.
I use Premiere and After Effects. I use them both together. I mean, I don't know if I have much of a process. I guess I have a rough idea in my head, sometimes very rough, and I basically just bounce around. I don't have any order. I just look at scenes which I think I can make work, and then I build off that. And sometimes I'll have, like in my Crystal Empire trailer, I started with like 2 moments. The moment where the train passes under the words, and I just had to, just that one moment I had to have everything build up to and everything lead from. That's the one rock that I have to sort of build off of.
All right, that makes sense.
I need that moment to happen.
So you have you go into making PMVs with a scene or something in your mind that you want to be the climax of your PMV, then you kind of make the lead off and the fall down from that?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be the climax, but it's just sort of
something that's memorable, something you're excited to do, the most exciting part of it.
The one moment that I think works so well that everything can sort of go around it.
Oh, okay. So what do you think you do to establish uniqueness in your work? And you can draw on technical choices, thematic choices, character choices?
I don't know if I do much unique. I mean, I think a weakness is that I don't follow a strong theme when it comes to like PMVs, regular PMVs. I just try to make something visually exciting and go with the flow. I guess you could say all I want to do is take the music and turn it into, visual, just
bring it to life.
Take the energy of the song and just go with that and bring it to life.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Let's see. So, and I've noticed as well that you don't really have a particular biased character. I mean, I know a while back, I think Storm XF3 was really biased towards Applejack, or maybe, oh no, I'm sorry, that was the first person we went on, Epic Dark Wizard, the first guy I interviewed. And I think what I've seen, I mean, watching your top 10 videos, you're using the characters that you think best reflect, since we were talking about the Matrix before, you had kind of characters, Spike as Neo, that you kind of fit into the image. Is that correct?
Yeah, with the Matrix, I just went off character relationships,
Okay.
So I'm gonna have one that has a girlfriend and one that has a mentor, has a girlfriend and a mentor. That's basically Spike. He's got
of course.
Twilight the mentor and Rarity the quote unquote girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then I think my roommate got me a Twilight Sparkle doll just because she thought that she had seen Twilight a lot in my videos, and I think that's probably fair. I think I'm pretty biased towards Twilight.
All right. Yeah, everyone has their own little thing. I mean, I had a friend recently talk to me, and he said he's making little badges, or I suppose necklaces, for me and a group of my friends because we're all going to BronyCon. Are you heading off to BronyCon?
Maybe.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
I don't know. I'd like to, but I don't know if a $700 trip is responsible right now.
Yeah, I suppose.
Go to school, but I'd really like to, but we'll see.
Okay, I'm pretty certain it's in August, and that's right before university, because I'm just about to head off to university, and I'm guessing, sorry, are you in college or university?
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you again?
22.
22. So there you have it. Okay, so you put out a lot of videos, you put out a lot of stuff, and I gotta guess, do you have any sort of difficulties that you've encountered, and how have you overcome those difficulties? And when I say difficulties, I can mean something like a writer's block and how you find, or a PMVer's block, and how you find inspiration or drive to continue, or on the technical side, like something's beyond your capable, talent, and you work towards getting that proficiency.
My biggest weakness is definitely just my drive to just keep working, I think, I didn't, until the last 2 months, I never had anyone to actually bounce ideas off of, because I ended up kind of staying away, I guess, staying out of the community, unfortunately.
Okay.
So doing Faint PMV, that was my biggest work, and it took months to do. It didn't have to take like 6 months or whatever.
Yes.
I just sort of, I get like 2/3 of the way through, and I haven't shown anyone any of what I've done, and it's sort of like, it just get to the point where you think, well, what if everything I've done so far is crap?
Yeah, no, and I know what you mean, and I think that I just saw recently your most recent video on your channel. You were giving a preview of some of the upcoming PMV, which I think is a great idea. All right,
I've done that with every major PMV. Yeah, I did that with Faint too, and
okay.
It was like 3-4 months after that I
okay, so you say that your the difficulties that you've encountered are more along the lines of a drive than technical.
Yeah, no, I don't think I really. I mean, if sometimes if I'm having technical, like I can't figure something out, I view it kind of like a puzzle, if I'm trying to get an effect, there's a way to do it. I just need to figure it out. And sometimes if I can't figure it out, or if it's just not looking good, then that's pretty unmotivating. But so that probably leads me to just sort of stop working, or even when I could be working on other stuff, I'm just thinking, oh well, I can't get that to work. Some part of me is like, what's the point,
Yeah, I get that.
Not a good attitude, but
no, and that's good that you're admitting your flaws, because that's the only way you can improve on them. Let's move on. So we kind of have a teaser to the most, the next PMV you're going to be doing. It's going to be PMV, yes? Or is it the next PMV you're doing? Is it a PMV or is it a parody?
It's
trailer?
a PMV.
Okay. All right. So, what do you plan to do in the further future? I mean, have you put any thought into trying to qualify for our contest, PMV Today's contest?
Well, ideally, I'm going to complete Corrupted, and that's going to go into the contest.
Oh, okay. And I'm pretty certain, as long keeping in mind the rules, that you cannot have put your PMV up online in the fullest, in its finished, completed project until it's been revealed. Okay, if you know that, that's fine. We'll move back to that. So that's what you plan to do in the future. All right. What do you think? I guess you kind of covered this already. So, the hardest project you've worked on, and we can say that was Faint, took you a bunch of months?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of the core questions. Let's just bounce around some stuff. Hey, so what about Equestria Girls? There's a lot of tension, I guess you can say, in the fandom. Almost as much tension as Twilicorn there. We had a big response to that. So, do you have any thoughts on the Equestria Girls?
I mean, I saw it opening day, and I completely loved it.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you rate it out of 5 stars? Because I'm kind of wanting to go, but I'm kind of scared at the same time.
Well, I mean, it's just sort of the reason I like the show at all is because I see, I'm imagining these animators, these voice actresses and actors that, they get this job passed down, it's My Little Pony.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine a lot of them were like, oh, great, My Little Pony. And, it's easy to just think, well, I'll just do this for a year or two or whatever until I can move on to better things. But they didn't do that. What they did was actually work hard and make something worth watching with such a concept, My Little Pony. No one thinks that's going to be good.
Absolutely.
And no one's going to get mad at them for making something that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do that. They actually worked hard on it. And so with Equestria Girls, I'm imagining these people getting the concept of the ponies turn into high school girls and have to win a popularity contest. And once you once you go with that, it's not really
It's
an
easier to
objective.
it's easier to think about and it's easier to watch.
Yeah,
All right.
it's like not objectively good, maybe, the movie, but they did the very best they could
Oh, that's
with the concept of high school girls win a popularity contest, and they
yeah.
within those constraints, it's really wonderful, I think.
That's good to hear. And like I was saying, me and my friends, we'd always talk about, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? In the days leading up to Equestria Girls, and I told them, look what they've done with My Little Pony itself. This show that no one expects suddenly is expected to be continuing. It's expected. It's liked. So, I kind of thought that it was going to be okay, but so I was on the fence. Now that's great. People have been telling me it's excellent. So you went to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Was it kind of awkward? Just like young kids with their mothers, and then you get all these big, acne and hairy bronies that just sitting beside them with their Pinkie Pie shirts or whatever.
Well, yeah, I was certainly afraid of going there. I was definitely afraid of this awkward situation, maybe with some bronies acting out and like yelling at the screen and quoting things. But that didn't happen. My group they were good, and I think it helped that one of the members of the group was, a girl who made her own plushies.
Oh, okay.
And so she brings her own plushies and she lets the actual little girls play with them,
Oh, nice.
And the parents get endeared to us,
That makes sense. Oh, smart move. Good move.
And so, I think that it went over pretty well. And of course, everyone was quiet. I mean, maybe there's one or two guys that got pretty excited at some of the references, but they never, started quoting stuff or anything.
Okay. Final question, just a quick last thing. We had mentioned prior to opening the podcast, I was watching the John Delancey Brony documentary, which I thought was great. I showed it to my parents. They liked it. And I actually noticed while looking through your top 10 videos that your Maretrix Reloaded video was featured on the Brony documentary. Do you want to tell me the story on how that exactly happened?
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember when now. It was months ago by now, but I got a message on YouTube from Michael Brockhoff, who's one of the actual documentary, the producer of it, who's actually done documentaries, as opposed to John Delancey and Tara Strong and Lauren Faust. And so he messaged me and he's asking me for permission to use the Maretrix Reloaded.
Were you excited?
I was very excited. Holy crap. We gave him my email address so he could communicate by email, and then I actually got to sign online this form saying, I give permission for them to use my PMV, the Maretrix Reloaded. He told me at the end, it might not get into the final cut, who knows? Anything could happen.
Yeah.
And so, I tell all my friends, of course, and and I'm eager to go see it just to see if I made it in, and, obviously I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to see that it makes it in, and just sort of a cool little bit.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something you'll be able to hold and say, I've left a mark on that documentary. That's my mark. All right, thank you so much for the talk. I learned a lot of interesting stuff about you. And I think I might end up following your channel because you've got some pretty good PMVs there. So, Linker, thank you very much for this interview. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you for having me.
Was I going to say something before we left? Oh, yes, for anyone who's tuning in, I'd mentioned it earlier on, the PMV Today contest. I don't know if you can still submit a PMV to that contest. I'm pretty certain you can.
Yeah, it's July 16th is the deadline, I think.
All right, so there you have it. If any of you guys are interested or know any of your friends or whoever that would be interested, I'd be more than happy to direct you to say, hey, you should give the competition a try. There's some great prizes, and it'll be showcased at BronyCon, which is an awesome opportunity in itself, and I think I might be on the panel. I think. We're trying to clear some things up, so you'll be able to all see me. So anyways, that was my little advertisement scheme. Get back to you, Linker, and just to say goodbye. So thank you, Linker, and see you guys.
All right. Yeah. Goodbye.